What's going on, guys? Welcome to Southern Hike. I'm Taylor, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, gear. So get ready. This is a two-part series, so make sure to be watching out for the second video. We're going to go through the big three, and then we're going to talk about all the other backpacking gear you need on the trail, or the best gear for you. Hope you enjoyed this video. Join along, and let's start talking. So guys, me and Rachel have been asked a lot, what's the best intro gear to get for backpacking, or if you want to do an over weekend hike or just an overnight hike. What is the main things you need to buy? Where do you need to start? So that is a big thing for a lot of hikers, especially when you're a beginner. I mean, we were a beginner at one time and had to review all these things too and decide what was going to be the best stuff for us. We want to go ahead and share what are some of the things we started with, what's the best things to pick, and what's the right choice for you. And so we all know, if you've done any research before, that the biggest thing you want to think about first is the big three. You want to think about your tent, or if you're using a hammock, and then you're going to need a sleeping bag or also a sleeping pad. That would be your sleep system. And then you're going to need to find something to put this in, so the right backpack. So those are your main three things. That's where the name to get the big three from. And another part of that is that honestly, you're going to read a lot of different stuff on the internet. A lot of people are going to say different things about what's the right weight. I have found myself and Rachel that for her, she's a little bit lighter, so we try to decrease that number even more, but you want to stay below 12 pounds. A lot of guys would say, man, that's still pretty heavy to carry on your back. Some people want to stay 10 pounds below for base weight. But if you're in the beginning and you don't want to do too expensive, but also you want to not be too heavy on your weight, staying below 12 pounds I've found is a good way to get started. And there's also a lot of great choices that are going to cost you a lot of money and still keep you under 12 pounds. This video, we're going to talk about the big three. I'm going to talk about some choices that are out there and where to start at. And then in the next video, we're going to move on to big three and beyond, and some of the main things you're still going to need in your pack, and I suggest having with you. You might be able to cut some of these out, but for the most part, these are things you're going to want to have with you when you're doing any type of trip, even if this is an overnight trip. Guys, like I said, this is the first part of the video. I'm going to do another video that will probably come out the following week. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to turn your notifications on below. We will also continue on in the next video. So again, make sure you subscribe and keep up. And guys, thank you for watching. This is Southern Hike. We do hiking, travel, tutorials, how-tos, and anything on backpacking or hiking or day hike. Continue to hope you enjoy these videos, and hope this video we're about to talk about is going to be the best one for you. Let's start with the big three. So one of the first things you want to go look for is, what exactly are you going to use as a shelter? Are you going to use a tent? Are you going to use a hammock? And then will you need a cover for that hammock? So there's a lot of options out there for tents. So I'm going to keep this video basic on what exactly you need, and I don't want to get really expensive. So some of these things I'm going to talk about are very, I guess, affordable options. So they're not very expensive. There's some very expensive stuff you can get that really gets your weight down, but you want to get some experience in first, not spend too much money in the beginning. If that's what you're going for, then I would try to stick with these choices first and see how you like them. Then you know what you need for the future. Obviously, you can get a lot out of these before you need to upgrade, so don't think I don't want to spend money right now and then I got to turn around and spend a bunch more money. So these choices are something that will last for a great while, and for even a weekend hike, you still can use them if you upgrade. For longer hike, I would definitely look into some of the lighter options to keep your weight down, but also some durable options. Okay. First thing is your tent. This is the REI Passage 2. I believe they've actually upgraded this model since we bought ours. This will fit me and Rachel pretty comfortable. We are pretty close together. There's still room there to keep our packs and everything too. This tent was actually, I think, like under $150. It's honestly been great. We've used it for a long time. We're doing a weekend hike if we go to FDR State Park. If you've seen our videos, this is usually the one we carry. It's a little bit heavier. It's right around 4 pounds. It is going to be a heavier tent setup, but it works really well. It's durable, and the thing is too, is you do want to get a footprint. We keep a footprint inside of here. That way you keep the bottom of your tent safe. It definitely needs protection on the bottom, so make sure that it does not come with the footprint. So REI makes some great tents. So this is one good option. There's some other good options out there. I think North Face and Big Agnes has some good options too that I've seen and tested a little bit. This one has worked well for us, is keeping the price down. Being trail weights right around 4 pounds, it will still help us keep that 12 weight max on us. So This is a good option. This is a good tent. This one will hold. Honestly, you could get a child with 2 people, but it'd be kind of tight. But for 2 adults, this works pretty well. Remember your tent. Now, this is your other option, a hammock. Now, this is a 2-person hammock, but I would not suggest sleeping with someone else in this hammock overnight. If you're just hanging out, you can definitely fit 2 people in it, but it can get very uncomfortable for overnight, especially. I don't know, some people might be able to do it, but there's no way we could do it. This is the Inu setup. This is their double eagle. So this has been a great option. Honestly, I've kind of roughed it a few times if I was trying to keep light, and then would hang this one up and then use just a string and then pull a tarp on each side. Inu makes a good tarp system for a rain system, and then they also have a good net if you worry about bugs and stuff. This stays pretty light here. This is only 2 pounds. This is half the weight if I was carrying my tent, and also obviously it takes up way less room in my pack. Hammock is another option. I think you can get this set up for under $100, and these work pretty well. There's some other options out there, but I know that I have done pretty well with the Inu setups, and so this is a good way if you want to stick with a hammock. Okay, let's talk sleeping bags. Now, this can be a very controversial topic. Some people say you need a sleeping bag. Some people are going to say the quilt option is better. If you're an ultralight hiker, definitely want to look into quilts. The quilts are going to keep your weight down, but I feel like there's a lot of cons to quilts also. They don't seal up and zip up like you can in a sleeping bag. There is some options out there, but just not like a sleeping bag. This is the REI Trail Break. This is the 20 grader model. For where I live in Georgia, this is pretty much what you want. This will still take care of you in the wintertime. It's not too bad in the summer also. It can get hot, let me say that. If you got some really hot, high humidity nights like we have in Georgia, this would be a little bit heavy. This one works pretty well. Anything around 20 to 30 degrees will kind of keep you for a 3-season setup. And then, you know, like I said, in the southeast, this really works year round. I could use it in the dead of winter too and still be pretty comfortable. Now, this is the sleeping bag option. Quilts are another great option. They can keep you not as warm, but they'll also keep the weight down. That's a big thing about them. The down can kind of flatten out of them, and it doesn't like insulate as well as these type of sleeping bags. There's a lot of great options. This one's right around $100. You can go all the way up to $300 to $400 in a sleeping bag, and then the quilts are up around that range too. This is definitely another thing you really want to consider, is what is the best option for you. I would read online for a lot of, if you want a lot of pros and cons. If you'd like us to do a video on quilts to sleeping bags, just let us know in the comments. This is another great option for trying to decide what is the best sleeping bag. REI has a lot of different options out there. We are not sponsored by REI, I just want to say that. We just really enjoy REI. They're really good customer service. They've been good to us. They got affordable prices, and their co-op gear works really well. This is a great option. Rachel has a Marmont sleeping bag, and hers was a little bit more expensive, but it's a little bit also rated temperature better too, because she's also very small, so I try to keep her warmer also. So these are good sleeping bags. This packs very well. I can get it into my bag, and it's only right around, I believe it's right around 2 pounds. It's a pretty light setup. This is a great suggestion. So sleeping bag or quilt, that's going to be the second thing you're going to want to shop for. So this has been a good option, and this is one of the ones that we've used for around here. I'm actually looking into getting a quilt myself, because when we go out west, I want to kind of start looking at some lighter options. If you had a great choice for a quilt, please let us know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions on what some good options are out there. So to stick with the topic number 2 of the big 3, let's talk about pads. So you want to talk about your sleep system as your pad and your sleeping bag going together. Seen us talk about it in the video. I'll link above this pad. We've honestly had this one for close to a year now. This has been a great pad. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's also pretty light, so I know longer into the future it can help with keeping our weight down and base weight. This is right at a pound. This is the Nemo Tensor, and this is the insulated version, and honestly it does well even in these warmer temperatures we have in the south. There's a lot of different ones out there. You have the fold-in like egg crate style ones that you see a lot, or then you have the Big Agnes sleeping pads, or there's some REI ones that has some. Those I've heard bottom out a lot. They also can make a lot of noise. I don't know if I'd recommend them as much. This is a great option for sleeping pads. Check this one out. Nemo makes some other good ones too. I'd recommend the wider one if you're a side sleeper. I definitely found that out the hard way, but it's still manageable to sleep on this pad. Also consider the weight. You know, a lot of places you're going to go to, especially a lot of campsites, got a lot of gravel, a lot of roots and stuff like that. You can kind of sleep on the ground, but if you're a side sleeper like me, it's not going to be a good option, so a pad is important. Remember this when you're doing your sleep system. It's important important to have a good pad to go with it. Part 3 of the big 3 is going to be your backpack. You can have a lot of different options out there for backpacks. Osprey has been one of our go-to choices for our day pack and backpack. This is their Rook 65. It's been a good pack for me. It's a little bit bigger. I just like a little extra room that way I can carry stuff. It fits my back well. You're going to want to really check, like REI is one of the ones that has a great way of testing it to measure your back to see what's going to be the best choice for you. This one fits my back really well. It's important to make sure you go ahead and buy your hammock or tent first and then your sleeper system before you buy your bags. You want to make sure you have a good setup for, you know, what exactly when you're looking at bag, you need to know what you're going to carry with you. So if you look on REI's website, and then I think there's a couple other websites that will recommend too, they'll tell you how many liters per that sleeping bag or per that tent you're going to need in your bag. And so that's a way to do it also, and then still have room. This one has a way to put your sleeping bag in the bottom. You can also put your bear canister in the bottom too. This is what I've used for this one. And so, you know, make sure you have enough room too to get your tent stakes in. Honestly, on this bag, you can put the tent stakes in the side. That is pretty much your bag. You want to really look around and see what's going to be the best. This one comes with a rain cover, so that's another thing to have also. That's it. That's pretty much your big 3. Those are the 3 things you're going to want to think about first and really pick which is going to work for you. Kind of go from there on what's going to be the best option. All right, guys. So we've talked about 3 main things. Honestly, between those 3 options there, you're still between $400 and $500. So you've done pretty well. You can spend a lot more money on the big 3. I promise you that, and get some great options. But if you need to start and still be able to get something that's going to be a good beginner setup, these 3 things will work well for you. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe. Again, make sure to turn your notifications on, and make sure to let us know if you have any other questions. We are going to do a second video and talk about some of the further things you need, or not need, but suggestions to have with you on the trail that we've used and worked well for us, and really can give you a great time when you're on the trail. Make sure that you have everything you need, but not overdo it at the same time. I hope you like this video. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, and guys, again, make sure to subscribe. We hope you enjoyed this and hope you have a great day.